All right, guys. Scott with Football Scoop. Today we've got UVA offensive grad assistant Marques Hagans on with us. How are you, bud?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Doing great. Hey, remind me a
Thanks.
little bit. I remember when you were a player back there at UVA, when you were a quarterback. But tell me about your playing career at both UVA, and then tell me what you did in the league.
Well, in the University of Virginia, when I first got here, I started off at quarterback and had a competition between me and Matt Schaub. I beat him out early, but then as the season progressed, he kind of won the spot back, which was cool. It was a great competition. The better man had won out for that year. And then the following year, since Schaub had assumed the realms of quarterback, Coach Grad just kind of moved me around, put me at punt return, wide receiver, running back, a lot of gadget plays at quarterback, which kind of helped the team a lot because I was able to get on the field and help in many different ways. And then once Schaub graduated, I was able to go and play quarterback the next 2 years and start every game. And had a pretty good career, played with a lot of good players, and it allowed me the opportunity to get drafted the following year in the 5th round to the St. Louis Rams. Played out there for 2 years, played a year in Kansas City, and then a year and a half in Washington, where unfortunately I tore my groin, and that was the last chance that I played in the NFL.
And then you started spring of 11, so about a year ago, back with UVA, right?
Yes, sir.
That's good stuff. Hey, let me go back for a second. So you're in the league, you're with the Rams. That's when Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and those guys were there?
Yeah, it was definitely a great opportunity to be in a classroom with a guy like Henry Eller, who was my coach. He had played almost 15 years in the NFL, one of the all-time greats, Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. And to have those three guys embrace me, because I was actually making the transition from quarterback to receiver. Even during the draft, when I got drafted, I was still making that transition from being a quarterback that whole season to becoming a receiver. And it wasn't a very easy process because, a lot of those guys that get drafted at DB, they've been playing DB, defensive back all their life. So me coming from quarterback, it was a lot of different things like how to get off the jam, how to win at the top of a route. And now it's not so much just scholarships on the line, it's people's livelihood, people getting paid to make a living. And so to have those three guys there to teach me every day, to help me make that transition, it definitely sped up my learning curve and also sped up the ability for me to get on the field at an earlier opportunity than it would have taken, and maybe I wouldn't have had those kind of veterans and that kind of knowledge in the room. So to be around those three guys every day in the classroom is like being with a CEO like Warren Buffett or, being behind a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning, because these guys have done it at the highest level for the longest time, and at least two of those guys will probably be future Hall of Famers. And I also think Coach Ellis should be one too, but I don't hold the vote.
No, I hear you on that. All right, so literally, you're taking that knowledge and you're passing it on to the guys. You're working with the receivers now, right?
And with the wide receivers.
Those kids, they can relate to you, huh?
Yeah, and a lot of the things that we did in St. Louis, somehow through a good friend of mine, were able to go back and get some film and some of the one-on-ones, some of the drills that we did. So allowing them to show them that not only am I talking it, but, I actually did it and, witnessed it firsthand. So it also makes it a lot easier to teach to a group of people when you've done or experienced what you're teaching. Like you can go back on film and show them, and it's crazy because 6-7 years ago, I can also like vividly remember in certain practices when I watch a film, like exactly what I was thinking then, and I can translate it to some of the players. And you're not always saying like you have all the answers, but you just give options so they can kind of pick and choose which kind of fits their personality and their playing ability. So it's good to just be able to adapt to any kind of player within that position.
Yeah, I think it's a great testament that Coach London invited you to come back to the program. Anytime you see a guy, succeed at his college, go off to the league, and then, the current coach staff invites him back, it's a great thing.
I definitely agree. And, I was kind of hesitant at first because, it's hard to kind of give up what you've done all your life playing football and then have the opportunity to make it to the NFL, let alone play and experience what it's like, and then to kind of say, I'm cutting the light off on my playing career and moving on. And I think through the fact of Coach London being so supportive and really, want me to be a part of the program says that I at least did something somewhat right when I was here in college. And then my wife just being so supportive and, understanding that it was time to move on and knowing that this could be a good field for me and something that, kind of fits as opposed to not being able to play. I think a lot of times guys coming from the NFL, it's hard to make that transition because they can't find anything to fill that void. And coaching has been the perfect thing for me, being around the game, being back in Charlottesville, having a wife, and we just had a little baby boy, raising him in Charlottesville where I played at. I think this is the perfect place for me.
That's great. So, tell me about the future as a coach. What drives you? Why are you doing it?
I think more than anything is when the interaction with the players. I love it. The grinds and during tour days, the summer workouts, just watching players progress. But then the thing that's most fulfilling to me, besides the fact of when they actually get something that you teach, is when someone like a year later says, "Coach, I appreciate everything you've done for me. I've gotten a lot better." And, just being the person that you are in the relationship that we've established, means the world to me. Just that right there is why you do coaching. You make people better players, but at this stage, you get to make boys better young men. And I think that's something that's really important to me, and that drives me and keeps me going every day when I wake up.
I love it when I hear coaches say that they look forward to two-a-days. I think that it shows what kind of man you are. I think that's great. You got the passion for it.
I love it, man, and because I know what they're going through. Yep. So it's not like it's just I'm on the other side with a whistle, blowing a whistle every time they show up to practice. Like, I've been there. I've been those 100+ days wearing the pads, tired, hurt. I know what it means, but to know why you're playing it, why you're chasing that dream, or what's important to you, being able to help push them through that without being demeaning or being destructive, I think is a powerful thing. And at the same time, teaching them how to get through struggles, how to become better young men, I think that's powerful.
Marques, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you. I appreciate you taking some time.
Pleasure's all mine.